Welcome to Manufacturing Talk Radio.
Welcome back. We're now in the fading hours of our day in Detroit, Michigan, where we're at the Motion and Power Technology Expo. Also, it was previously known as the Gear Expo. That's been run by American Gear Manufacturing Association since I think it's 116 years or something like. I'm here with Hector Sarro, who is with Kugler Bimetal, and I'm going to let him tell you about Kugler Bimetal. And thanks for being here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. So yeah, I'm here. I'm working for Kugler Bimetal. Well, Kugler is a company that was founded in 1854.
Oh my God, you beat AGMA.
Yeah, so next year we're going to be completing 170 years, so it's going to be our 107th anniversary. It's it's a big moment in the history of the company.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And so the company in the 50s, actually, just coming back a little bit on the history, the company was founded as a water tap manufacturer. So they were manufacturing water taps using bronze and other alloys. Yeah. And then in 1950, they decided to develop this bimetal solution. And that's how Kugler Bimetal was born. So we were a family-owned company back then, and that's how it all started. Right? So,
is it still family-owned, multi-generational? Or?
No, actually, 5 years ago, an investment fund, a Swiss investment fund, actually bought the company, and so nowadays we are owned by this Swiss investment fund called the Kalia Group. Yes. And so that's when the family stepped out of the business. They are not even on the board nowadays. So we are really
enough, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a long history.
How many employees do you have?
So we have 60 people nowadays. At the beginning of the year, the load was pretty high. We were almost 85 people. So we had obviously to adapt. But 2024 is looking great. And I think we're going to continue to grow next year.
So being that you're situated in Geneva, Switzerland.
That's right, yeah.
And you're living in France.
I am. That's correct.
So we're now talking multi-international, which is right. Very good. Tell us a little bit about the purpose of bimetal solution.
Right, so bimetal is interesting for customers that are looking for solutions that are wear resistant, and we combine the strength of the steel with the lubricity of the bronze. So the magic we play here is that around 75% of the load is taken by the steel, and only 24%, 25% of the load is taken by the bronze. So that allows us to put a very soft bronze layer on the inside diameter of the part. It can also be on the outside diameter. We have different geometries that we use.
Right.
And then you have a solution that is extremely load capable, but is very wear resistant as well. So that's how we play the magic. And then we have a range of 6 standard alloys that we use. So it's what we call the toe-cut bronze, which is the bronze that we have on the inside diameter.
So it's corrosion resistant?
The bronze, yes. Bronze, yes, it's corrosion resistant, and the steel can be also a stainless steel. Yes. So if we have that combination of stainless steel with bronze, yes, we have
and it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win, and that's the case, for example, for the aerospace industry, which is one of the industries we serve.
Is that one of the industries that you're in?
Yeah, that's correct.
Are you AS 9100?
We are AS 9100. We are ISO 14001 as well, and we have just come out of our recertification audit last Friday, and we got it right.
So Geneva, Switzerland is the one who came up with ISO 9000.
Yep.
And we too are registered since 1994. Okay. Couldn't run our business without it.
That's correct. Yeah, it's a must nowadays. And as we grow into this area also of aerospace, it's a must. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I heard somebody here today refer to it as processing management.
Right.
And I like that term.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's, if you think about how the system is designed, it's all about, first of all, guaranteeing your customer satisfaction, but also having the processes in place that can deliver what the customer is expecting, but also having that continuous improvement loop.
So I presume that you're selling throughout Europe.
Correct. Yeah, we sell a lot.
And here you are in Detroit, Michigan.
Yes.
I have a suspicion that you have a salesman floating around here.
We do. Yeah.
Is it you or?
No, we actually have someone that is covering the U.S. for us.
Yep.
The U.S. has always been a market where we wanted to develop, but due to the circumstances, we concentrated in Europe first. But now we're growing, and we're growing big in the U.S. So this year, just so you have an idea, the U.S. is going to be representing almost 20% of our sales. So, and almost 90% of that is coming from aerospace. So it's a very strategic market for us, and we have someone here that is helping us develop the American market.
Well, I have a real good idea for you. We have a magazine called Manufacturing Outlook, which we now have a circulation of 10,000 manufacturing people.
Yep.
Maybe you should run an ad, and I'll be happy to take an insertion order before you leave.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure, that's a very good idea, yeah.
Not bad, not bad. So you're in Switzerland. So you gave us some of the advantages of bimetal.
Mm-hmm.
And so are there any additional ones that you can talk about?
Yeah, sure. The bimetal solution is also an exclusive solution. So I have a customer, obviously I cannot name them, but 80% of the business that they have with us, it's actually for repair parts.
Repair parts.
So their customers go back to them because they need that part and they don't want to have another part.
And they don't want to keep repairing the same part.
That's it.
Interesting.
So it's a very interesting positioning because our customers, they also build on that value and exclusivity to create their own aftermarket strategy.
Got it. So I do have one question to ask you about the technology of the forming of the bronze to the steel or the stainless steel.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and it looks like it's bonded somehow.
It is. Yeah.
So you're going to tell me how.
Okay.
Don't tell me the family secret, though.
No, I'm not. I promise you I'm not going to go there. So we actually have, I would say we have two processes that we can use. The first one is what we call casting. So it's the traditional casting process. And for the casting, we can use, within the casting family, we have three types of processes we use. We can do gravity casting, we can do induction casting, or the third one is what we call B-fusion, where basically I have the part, I put a solid bronze lug on top of the part, and the steel part plus the bronze solid will go into the oven, and the bronze will melt. Right?
Which is the easier to produce?
The fastest, more energy efficient is the induction process. Obviously, we tend to use that process for higher volumes because the setup is also quite important there. But yeah, that's the most efficient one.
Or one of them also called laser cladding?
Correct, and that's the second family. So this is a process that we developed, I would say, some 5 years ago. That's when we brought it to the market. We've been playing with this technology a long time ago, since 2012, if I'm not mistaken. So what we do there is we use a laser source to melt a bronze powder into the surface of the parts that we're trying to coat.
Got it.
So the laser technology is extremely energy efficient because we are only heating where we need to heat.
Right.
And obviously we are just placing the amount of bronze that we need where it's needed. And therefore, behind that, the machining costs associated with producing the finished machine part are much less, and so the overall cost of the solution is reduced as well.
Are these all standard parts that you make, or do your customers request customized and giving you drawings and so on of what they actually need?
Right, so we are 90% built to print, so the customers are giving us a drawing of the solution that they require. We do have some engineering capability in-house as well that we can help customers define what their solution should look like, help on calculating the tolerances, the clearances. So that's something we can do in-house. But I would say 90% of the cases we are working with a customer that has already a drawing and knows the technology already.
So what's the delivery? Let's say somebody needs 100 of these.
Right.
What's the delivery like coming from Switzerland?
Yeah, so the lead times are not that long because we use standard steel, for example, for many of the parts. So I would say if it's a part like this, we're talking probably of a lead time around 8 to 12 weeks, and that's really going to depend on the availability of this steel tube in the market.
But do you buy the tube?
Yeah, so in the majority of the cases, we are buying the steel tube and we are making what we call the pre-machining ourselves.
So you're not doing the casting of the steel part.
No.
So you're buying a cast tube.
Yes.
And then bimetal cladding the bronze.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. A few customers, just being very specific, a few customers, they actually pre-machine their steel parts and they send us their parts. That's another solution also for higher volume customers that have already a machining cell in place.
So regarding your entering or planning to enter the U.S. market, and you did say you have a salesperson here in the U.S., so your plans of entering the U.S. market, is the delivery going to be an issue? Is there competition here that you have to deal with?
Right. It's a very interesting setup because what happens is this technology, the way Kugler produces the parts, there's no other company that I know of in the U.S. able to produce this technology. Yeah, and we believe when we go and we speak to customers, when we talk to the engineers, it's interesting because they have that aha moment.
Yeah.
So there are technologies that are what we call replacement technologies. Some people are going to self-lubricating technologies in some areas, but there are some conditions of speed and pressure where you still need to have a lubrication in place, and therefore that's when the bimetals will come to play. So it's usually, I'll give you an example, a hydraulic pump. So it's extreme pressure.
Right.
You have pumps that are going up to 5,000 psi, for example. So we work with this type of manufacturers because they need a solution that can resist to those pressures and speeds.
Right. So what is the plan for Kugler in the U.S.?
So Kugler, the plan is very clear. Aerospace is priority number one. We would like to be one of the major players providing hydraulic part components for aerospace parts.
Right.
We would like to finish aerospace parts as well. So that's pretty clear where we want to go. The other area where we would like to grow in the U.S. is wind energy.
Is what?
Wind energy. So
yes.
Everything related to wind, specifically on the gearboxes. That's another area where we think we can grow. And then last but not least, we have all the presses, the machines that use this type of.
Are you familiar with wave technology?
Wave technology? No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Right, just briefly. It's Sweden, Norway have been using this now for a couple of years. And what they do is they build these school bus size turbines. Okay. And they'll take 5 or 6 of them, connect them, and put them in under the water.
Under the water.
And the waves
Yep.
generate electricity.
Right.
And it's proven to be quite successful.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been talking to people, why aren't we doing that on the East Coast and the West Coast?
Yeah.
We have
that's
two oceans.
Yeah.
We have waves.
Yeah, that's true.
We also have people there.
Yeah.
It's a whole industry.
Yeah, that's true. I think it was in Scotland that they were doing something.
Probably
using tidal energy also.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can use the waves or even the tides. And the tides, I don't know if you've seen it, looks like a windmill actually.
No,
but it's underwater.
It's underwater.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting.
They had an underwater turbine in the East River in New York City 10, 15 years ago. And they put it in underwater. And the East River is a very fast-moving river.
Right.
And it had propellers on it, and it was generating and speeding up and making electricity.
Right.
It didn't work well, though, because there were telephone poles floating down the river, trash cans, all kinds of debris.
Yeah.
And they finally took it out, and I saw a photograph. This turbine was beat to death. And that was the last of East River tidal technology. So what's your plan for the U.S.?
Yeah, so right now we have one salesperson that is covering the U.S. Obviously, as the business grows, we would like eventually to hire another salesperson to help us grow even faster. And why not one day have a local production also? So that's obviously more on the very long term. But yeah, we are open. It's a very mature market, and that's why it's an interesting market for our requirements.
Well, if you'd like, you can give us his email, his name, and let's get it out on the air.
Yeah, sure. So we're talking to Steve Taylor. So his email address is Taylor altogether at bimetal.ch. .ch is important because that's our email from Switzerland.
Right. So you want to say that one more time?
Yeah, sure. So it's Steve Taylor, Taylor altogether at bimetal.ch.
Very good. Hector, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Interesting story. I wish you well.
Thank you.
I'd like to be able to speak to you at some point. I'll give you my business card, and
yes, sure.
We might be able to do something together.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And that's a wrap for this interview at Motion Power Technology.
That's our show for today. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support the show, please like and subscribe, share on social media, or leave a review. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Rumble, or your favorite podcast app. Visit us online at mfgtalkradio.com for our other episodes. We have also included links to our advertisers below. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.